Okay, today we're actually going to make a hot chili sauce, and this is for Bo, who tasted my hot chili sauce and wanted to know the recipe, so I'm making a video. So I'm going to ferment my chilies first, and I've got a variety of chilies here. I've got some red Cayenne chili, I've also got some Habanero chilies, and also some bird's eye, which variety of spices, but it is going to be nice and hot. So I'm going to pop those in. I'm going to slice them up. I'm not going to worry too much about how much I slice them. It's just so then they fit into the jar. And I'm going to fill that up pretty much completely, or about 3/4. Seeds and all, I want it nice and hot. So I've used 3 habanero, I've used 2 cayenne chilies, and about 5 bird's eye chili. Now I'm also going to use some capsicum as well. I've got enough spice in there, but as you can see, it's not even halfway. So I'm going to use some capsicum to add that little kind of bulk to it. And it also has a lovely flavour as well. And once again, I'm just going to chop these up however you like. It's all about the red as well. Actually also going to add some garlic. You can brine the garlic as well. That way all of that flavour is infused into the chilies. So just add some cold water to that, diluted salt, and then you can add that. And we want to cover the entire mixture with liquid. You want to make sure that all of those ingredients are submerged under the liquid. And because I'm using one of these jars, this seal should push the liquid down and no air should reach it. There we go. And now what I'll do is I'll leave that and I will let that ferment for about 5 to 10 days. And we will finish doing the chili sauce in a few days once that's been fermented. So we'll just leave that, and yeah, that is how you ferment chilies. So I've had my chilies and my capsicum and my garlic fermenting. It's been fermenting for 9 days now, and I'm ready to take it to the next stage. So that's what it looks like. It looks pretty good, and the smell is quite intense. It's quite strong. It smells spicy, but it also has that lovely chili smell to it as well. So what I'm going to do now is just strain that. So I just grab, and I want to keep the liquid. So I'm going to strain it in a pasta strainer over a saucepan. And let's soften those ingredients as well. Look at that. Beautiful colour. So now, I want to keep that liquid because I might use some of it as well. And I might just transfer that into a jug, so if I need some, I can add it to my pureed mixture. Put that into a blender. I'm going to pop the lid on that, and I'll just take off this. So that way, if it doesn't blend completely, I can always add a little bit of liquid, and that way it'll help it mix. Just a little bit of liquid. Okay, so that's quite smooth. quite thick as well. Now I'm actually going to cook it in this saucepan. Add that in there, so just like that. Good, I'll do a little bit more. To my saucepan. So that's probably worked out to be about 2.5 cups of blended mixture. So there's 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. I'm going to add that to the mixture. I don't need any salt, I'm pretty sure of that. And now I'm going to cook this on a stove, bring it to boil, and then allow it to simmer just for a few minutes, and that should bring it all together. I'm going to leave my sauce a little bit chunky, but I'll decide whether I want to blend it again after I've heated it up. So let's go to the stove top. Okay, so I have my chili sauce, and that's actually in a saucepan now. I'm just going to turn that heat on. I'm going to bring this to a boil and then allow it to simmer, and then I'll taste it to see if it needs anything, just to adjust those flavors. I'm just going to taste it at this point, just so I know how spicy it is. Oh, that's quite spicy. I'm not going to add any sugar. Hopefully cooking it off should get rid of that little bit of that acidity, but it's got a beautiful spicy flavor. That capsicum really comes through really nicely. It's quite hot, so that's 3 types of chilies in there and the capsicum, and that garlic just comes through slightly, which is beautiful. Gives it a bit of depth. So that's just starting to heat up a bit. Don't want it to catch. So just make sure that you give it a bit of a stir, and I want the whole thing to be boiling nicely. So that's boiling away. So there you have it. That is my chili sauce. It's come together quite nicely. It still smells quite strong. That slight smell of that apple cider vinegar is coming through as well, which works really well. And now I'll just let that cool down and pop that into airtight containers. And that way I've got some fermented chili sauce. I'm gonna just turn that off. That's pretty much it.